But I do want to say just a few thoughts from those introductory comments there in the notes. And really asking you to remind yourself of why you are singing in worship. Why this is important, why we're here this morning, why it makes such a big deal about just getting together on Sunday morning and opening up a hymnal and singing. Why do we do that? Somebody want to tell me? For worship, okay? But why singing? I mean, what's the big deal about singing? Can't you worship standing up and saying, just stand up and speak and say, I'm praising God. God, I praise you for your greatness, your goodness, your power, your wisdom, and so on. Well, okay, we do responsive readings. We do that too. We could just... Well, that's one big deal right there. I mean, we're commanded to, for sure. And, yes, what were you going to say? Well, there you go. See, you're right on the right track. The Lord commands us to sing together. So we still haven't really said why. Why would he command us to sing together? Yeah, well, you soon will. Okay. Right. Let's think in terms of music in general. I mean, let's back up a step from the worship component and just say, or ask the question, why does pretty much every culture that's ever been in the world compose music? Well, there's something to that for sure. Yeah, there's it. What is it about music? Stringing tones together in melodies and harmonies that amplifies what we would do if we were just speaking. It creates a mood. Think about the other side of the flip side of that, though. I'm getting a little theoretical on you here. Maybe it's a little early in the morning. I'm starting to see smoke curl. All right. Yeah. So a lot of times, and this is one of the things that I remember when I was at Bob Jones. We had lots of people come in and try to emphasize to us the evils of rock and roll. And they typically always focused on what it created. What it made us do. Just how we felt, whether it was rebellion, whether it was sensuality, whether it was something else like that. And there is a component of that is true. But that's only half of it. The reason music is so powerful, I believe, is not so much because of what it makes you do or how it makes you feel, is because it gives vent to the deepest things that are already there. I mean, you think about top 40 types of stuff, or not even top 40 stuff, classical music of all different genres and types. Get out of the classical realm, you get into jazz, you get into country music, you get into bluegrass. All those kinds of forms of music are all expressions of a culture, of how people emotionally view reality. That's why it's so powerful. Because the reason it ramps up, now you can certainly be emotional in your speech, of course. But music just adds that, it springs out of the emotional component of every human being and sends it out greater intensity. So your music, the choices that you make, and the things that you like in music are not just something that you turn on the radio or you do something else because you want to feel a certain way, so you're going to basically use it as an audible hypodermic to make you do something. It is giving vent to your own heart and mind and emotions in a particular way. People identify with different kinds of music because of the culture that they're in, because of what they're raised in, their value system, all of that sort of thing. I'll do that. And I don't plan to put my hand up here. Do the Napoleon thing. So now let's come back to why do we do, besides, yes, the Lord has commanded us. Why did he command us to use music in worship? Okay, let's hold. That's a big piece of this. I want to see if I can get to the additional piece to put with that, and we'll really understand the power of this and why we're spending this time talking about it.
I think each person has their own specific song that brings back memories, of family or the favorite song of mom or the favorite song of someone.
So all of that speaks to your emotional response that is associated with the life events that those songs were part of, right? So you've got you take what, this is a double bill right here. Oh, yeah. You take these, yeah. You take these two comments and you put them together, and you have, I believe that the Lord wants us to intensely come before him with every part of our being. And there is certainly a solo component. I'm going to be doing, a solo concert tonight, and though the congregation is going to join us on at least one of the songs we're doing. But I much prefer choir. I much prefer corporate singing. And that's because it takes my intellectual and emotional response to God's reality, and it amplifies it in two ways when we sing corporately. First, there is just the fact that it's music, and so that is intensifying it. But then there's also the fact that your experiences and 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 your experiences with God are all founded on the rock of the Lord Jesus Christ, but they're all different as well. So if I took my line here, the black line, this is going to be terribly imperfect, but I think you'll get the idea. Here's my emotional response to something. It doesn't matter whether it's up or down, okay? If your emotional response and your experience with God is exactly the same, well, then that's great. It's a little louder. But what if we're all exactly the same? What do we have? Emotionally, it's all the same. Except for maybe decibel level, have we actually intensified and magnified the Lord in praises? But here's my emotional response. Here's John's. Here's Bill's. Here's Obie's. Here's Steve's. Here's Pastor Steve's.
Wow. I think this is my idea.
And then you take the ups and downs that we have through life, afflictions. Sometimes they're up, sometimes they're here, sometimes they're like this. Others are here. Some are like this, some are down like this on a long scale because of some long affliction or whatever. Some people say, why do you have minor key hymns? Well, because there's minor key events in life. And so instead of having just this one narrow view of God and His reality and His expressions as His people pour forth their hearts, now talk about bandwidth. You have this rich tapestry of response that magnifies God in every facet of your life, in every response to every situation, whether it's a situation that brings tears or a situation that brings laughter. We're responding to God in all the richness of variety that's there, and the expression of that before a fallen world is not of a single-dimensional God, but a relational creator being, almighty, infinite, all-wise, who has and will continue to deal with us in every way, every situation. I believe that's why He commands us to sing.